In this episode, we're talking about making space for yourself. And I don't mean like a self-care with scented candles thing, but the how do I not lose myself in the chaos kind? Because between school, work, side gigs, life is definitely lifing. But how do we keep parts of ourselves alive when we are stuck in the grind? Let's get into it. The premise for this episode, right, is it's a feeling that I've had, and even from like conversations with other people, like other friends, it's like everyone is just trying to, make it, and also trying not to lose themselves, or just hoping that the things that make them feel alive don't get buried under adulthood, don't get buried under that cycle we're currently going through, sort of. One way or the other, we're all like grinding. Let me use that word, grinding, right? Either 9 to 5 freelance, either you have a side hustle, or even if you're like still in school, right? You know that you will not be a student forever. So you like start thinking of making moves for life outside. Do you guys ever feel like the days feel like a loop, like a cycle where you're just going through it?
I think I can relate very well with that. Like when you're in that phase where you can't even tell whether today is Monday or Tuesday, I just going with the flow and just like more like a robotic kind of thing, just getting some things done, basically. So yeah, something that's very relatable, and it's like something that the phase that is very easy to fall in, especially like where everybody's trying to do like 5 things at once, and just trying to do multiple things, side also, go to school, this and this. So yeah, it's something that is very relatable.
Yeah, for me, it's more or less like a routine that you literally don't have any control of. You just keep on doing something like it's an endless cycle, and you have this 5 a.m. thoughts when you wake up that, is this how it lived till I die?
Does that sound so dark? Okay. Honestly, like I get that feeling, and it's like there's surviving and there's trying to live, right? And right now it feels like you're just trying to sneak in some life into the survival. But yeah, even I missed all of this. Should be more detail into how the cycle is right now for you.
So I'll just give a quick run of how tomorrow is going to be. Sleep, and I'll still sleep anytime from maybe say the next 30 or 45 minutes. I'm actually up late, but I wake up by 5, leave the house by 6 o'clock or 6:30, depending on, let me say, sunlight. If the sun is out a bit earlier than usual, I'll leave the house because it's safer then. Then beat Lagos traffic to get to work, drenched up in sweat and all that. Then immediately I get to work, just start with the day's task. Yeah. Then let me say, find or sneak around with 5 more minutes and eat something. Yeah, that's it. Then we have another journey again back home because I stay quite far away from my workplace. So it's a big shuffle with angry people in Lagos, traffic guys, and other humans.
Yeah, that's a cycle. And you have to do that like every day.
Every day is the weekends. And the weekends, they are trying to catch up and recover the lost energy because you are going to use it again come Monday.
Fathia, what does your own cycle look like?
Okay, let me use tomorrow as an example, like I just did. Tomorrow I'm probably going to have class, and one thing about my classes is they can be as spontaneous as anything. Like I won't let the class before and lecture was about to go, like, you push you wait, my friend is comes for my meeting, and voila, there's another lecture, so another 2 hours. So like I'm sure I'm probably not going to sleep now until like probably 2 a.m.
Wow.
Because exam is closed. Just trying to like cover up all the books I've left,
all
the materials I've left. Then, wake up, probably have 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. class. And basically going to class from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., that means like to like 2 or 3 p.m. I'm still trying to like recover from, the stress, waking up early, maybe trying to get extra sleep and, trying to feed too as well. Then I currently, like, I'm currently an executive of an association. So I can't tell. I have to like tick off some boxes of that too as well. And and my side also, I make outfits for people. Like should I say tailor fashion designer, anything you want to call it. I'll probably not to like disappoint my clients from 4 p.m. probably to like 6. I'm probably going to be making some outfits I have written Then, 6 p.m. Most meetings I have with maybe other executive and since they are students from other schools, usually in the evening. So from 6 p.m. to probably like 9 p.m. around this time, probably like trying to sort out some things, just trying to fill up or doing my roles and stuff like that. Then 9 p.m. downwards, just trying to utilize it for myself, basically, either
Yeah.
school or, trying to come up with content and stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think from what you guys said, yeah, that whole loop and cycle thing, right? For me, Sha, I think the loop is just in how the week, you can really kind of visualize what the week would look like, right? And the only blank slate you might have is the weekend. And I don't know, when's the last time you actually did something just because you wanted to, right? Not because it was productive or profitable.
That would be last 3 weeks. I decided to cut make a clothes for myself. Yeah, I was just tired, and I just felt like, okay, yeah, I actually sew clothes too, not like side hustle. I just do it because I can do it. I actually learned this skill before coming to school, so I decided to make this nice Ankara. I saw a design online. I was like, okay, I can do this. And I just did it, and I wore it to service on Sunday. And people were like, wow, you made this. Because I also did show the process of me doing this. And I was just happy. All my mind was, I just want to see the end product of what I was doing. And that was actually when I felt like I did something for myself in a very long time.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. You look good, by the way.
Thank you.
I think my one, well, it's for the little things that I try to do almost every day for myself. I think that would be like, it's like not just eating for survival per se, just ensuring, okay, I had a bit of, intentional twist to whatever I'm taking, even if it's Gary. Just, okay, just making sure, like, at least whatever I'm taking, like, I'm being intentional about it. Like, even if it's Gary, just ensuring, oh, I take the Gary with a smile, even if I'm not adding anything extra on it and stuff like that. Because one thing I always have to do, basically, like, is to just take something in a day. Don't just take something in a day. So, like, people know me as, oh, that girl, that foodie, she can't stop talking about food. I think if I'm with you for a week, you can come to the conclusion that this girl likes food. But it's not about liking food. It's just that, oh, I just take the extra time. I don't mind if I have like a week deadline to meet. So far, I know I want to eat. I put in my time to just, do something special. If I'm making, like, I think the only extra thing I did, I got a plate of jollof macaroni from my friend. So instead of eating it plain, I just ensured, I took cucumber, diced it, garnished it, and just make it look more extra. And so that's like, I think when I just intentionally eat, that's like one of the things I think I can do every single day to just few minutes to make you feel like, okay, I am here. I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm not just like
Yeah.
stuck in. And sometimes just to gist with your friend, just to drop down your phone for like quite, just drop your phone, call a friend, probably like 5 minutes, just gist, like just someone you're safe with, just gist with them, try to have a, wrap up about the day, talk about Nigeria, bitch about Nigeria together. And the struggle Nigeria is giving you, basically.
Real, man.
Yeah, making outfit for yourself is so really good. I think I started, not even now, like, I'm not exactly established that, okay, I'm sewing clothes for people. Just a few people that get to know that I sew clothes and, okay, I can take out of my time to make clothes for you. But aside that, I majorly just, make outfits for myself, try to like draft outfits. Like even now today, I'm already thinking of what's the next thing I'm going to make for myself. So just little times in between the free time, trying to, think of something that I can do for myself, just to beautify myself and stuff like that. I think those little things count as being intentional. Just
Yeah, they
ensuring
do.
that you have a breath of I have a breath of fresh air, and I'm not just stuck into trying to do something for other people.
I think thinking about it now, what exactly do I even do for myself? I'm sure there is, but I can't like put a finger on it directly and say, oh, this thing is for myself. But I would say so far it's basically just maybe just when I have conversations with people. I think those are the things I really enjoy nowadays. Like either recording for the podcast or just, I see something online and I share like my friend group and we start talking about it. Those things are actually really fun. But if, looking at the things we try to do for ourselves, and the things we have to do, right? That causes that kind of loop. And I just know, I just have this question, or I just think about like if we weren't working for money right now, or we didn't have to maybe complete a degree, what do you think you would actually be doing? Right? What do you think you would be doing if you didn't have to do any of those things?
I was not actually doing stuff for money. What I actually like to do. And I think design, yeah, it's just fun trying to put your crazy ideas out there. If it works in your head, just try and replicate it. Or still the same thing I do when I'm actually quite tensed up with the whole working routine. Just take material, buy a material, cut a cargo pant, cut a jean or something, and sew it for myself or sew it for my brother and sisters. I prefer to see them happy and I just feel fulfilled then. That's it for me.
That's cool. That's cool, actually.
I assume like in that scenario, there's free money. I was not to, have to complete a degree or even work. One thing that I'll surely do is travel and explore new places, as well as, new tribes, new food. Sorry, new food, yes, because I think it's very fascinating to me how we can all, be human, have similar, anatomy and physiology build up as a makeup rather, but we're so diverse in our way of thinking, the flavor of our foods, our way of dressing, and things like that. I had to like attend a convention, I think last month, and for me it was just so fascinating just to see people from different tribes doing different things. Like we know we're all Nigerian, but then I'm just seeing Nigerians at different angle and different perspectives. So
Yeah,
I think exploring
yeah, I think that's
and just traveling
out.
is something that I would love to do. So just being able to hear from them their stories, being able to like experience their own past of their own part of life from where they are coming from through their story. So it's something that is really fascinating to me. So if I was not to be stuck in school trying to get a degree or probably working for money, I would say exploring one of the major things I'm going to be into. And in a way, it boosts my creativity too as well. Like it fills me, I don't know, new experiences, new perspectives.
Yeah, new perspective, the exposure. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like, oh, we usually just push them to the side and, oh, when I have time, I'll come back to do it, right? So I wonder, like, what other hobbies do you guys have that feels like, oh, I'll come back when I have time?
I'll say writing, and I don't mean like, I think almost every day I write, but I don't write for myself or in the way I want to write. Because every day there's always like, maybe it's book. Like you write your story in maybe 40 leaves or 20 leaves. You write everything with your hand, like with pen, and probably there were short stories though that I probably didn't have any depth. But then yeah, it was something. Then I remember then I'll write a book, try to draw the cover of a book yourself and stuff like that. So if something that I actually want to go back to, I'll say writing with no string attached. Just writing to express with no pressure, basically. I miss that.
Honestly, I think we all look for, or we all crave ways to just express ourselves without any pressure on it. Yeah.
I think one of the things I used to do then that I don't do anymore is swim. I don't swim as much as I used to. There's no time for that. And if you even try to go outside, debit will send you back inside. So don't just even just bother starting what you cannot finish. Then ask yourself, is this thing actually worth the struggle?
But I mean, it might be worth it to keep yourself sane, don't you think?
Actually, you will feed on the memories, but you won't feed on that money anymore.
That's real, man. But I mean, if you mentioned swimming and you touched on the things that like trying to keep yourself sane, right? What do you guys do to, keep yourself sane? What do you do that feels like just getting away from either the grind or the stress and struggle of school?
I think that would be sewing, definitely sewing, because when I'm just on the machine, I don't think of anything. I'm just enjoying the whole process. I take my time. I'm sure if my boss, who I learnt from, were to see me sew, he'd be like, boy, you're wasting too much time on that clothes. Because I'll take my time to iron everything. Once I just sew, let me say a straight line or something, I'm just going to go and iron it. I don't have I'm taking my own pace. Nobody's rushing me. The world is slow at the moment. I'm the honored one at that moment, if you get the reference. So I would take my time and do this.
Oh, but I'm sure like sewing feels it's kind of therapeutic to like you just taking your time with it, right?
Yes, you're not thinking of anything. No one is pressuring you at the moment. You're just, how will I say, you're tunnel visioned on what is in your hand. Simple.
Why do you think that is like an escape for you? Right? If you mention that as what keeps you sane or what helps you.
Okay, for someone that deals a lot with, like, it is a lot, I spend a lot of time on screens. At the point, they get tiring. So this one, I'm not even on the screen. I'm just on something mechanical. So it's fun for me.
Sure. Like disconnecting from the
Yes.
digital world, I guess. Yeah.
The whole scrolling or having notifications that incite anxieties, all this kind of stuff.
For me, I think anytime I say, "Oh, I cook to distress," people don't actually want to believe that. But I think
Because
cooking.
I mean, cooking can be stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say I cook to distress, people always like, "What do you mean? Like, how is that possible?"
Yeah.
But actually, for me, like when I just like turn off and I'm in the kitchen and I'm trying to just do something really nice. When I mean something really nice, I mean I can be battling with a lot of materials and I'm like, okay, this is one to end my life. Let me go into the kitchen and make amala veggie do and soup. And in that moment,
nice.
everything is just for like maybe the next 2 hours or I'm just doing something I'm going to enjoy. And most of the when I'm done, sit down, probably watch a movie. Then when I'm done eating and I'm satisfied, probably even sleep after. Then okay, wake up and try to figure out life later on. I think cooking, and sometimes I just force my friends to go out. Yes, I force my friends to go out. That is very. I think if you are with me, I'm going to suffer that. I'm going to convince you and not confuse you that you should spend your money to go out. And because I just believe that everybody just having your friends around, classmates, just going out, probably like a low budget kind of picnic, something that is very low budgety because I have to consider that okay, everybody has expensive. So I just try to force my people to go out.
When Fisia said low budget outing, I tried considering that recently. And I found out that it is better to starve at home and be with family and just.
Yeah, staying in Lagos. I'm staying in Ilorin. So for now, I can still enjoy that in Ilorin.
Oh, you learn. Oh, no wonder. Makes sense now.
I think the last picnic we did was like 5K.
Man.
And then we were able to make jollof rice, fried rice.
That must be nice.
And fruits, like the old people out of that 5K for it.
If I was born and brought up in Ilorin, if I like come to Lagos here, there will be this culture shock of how everybody's rushing and hustling. I went to Ilorin for the first time 2019 and I ran after a cab. That was like me signaling to everybody that, oh, I came from Lagos. And that was.
Ilorin is very chill, even chiller than Ibadan.
For
It's
real?
very chill. I think I've explored Ilorin more than I've ever explored any state. Any city in Ibadan. Any city that I've been, even Ibadan that I grew up in, because it's just cheap to transport yourself to go to places.
That place is epitome of safe and sane life. Yeah, seriously.
Reminds me of Ibadan. Like even like me, any chance I get to go back to Ibadan, I always take it to chap weekend. I'm in Ibadan. Like, oh boy, I get that. I think the keeping myself sane. I think that's one of the ways. If I can, as much as possible, trying to leave the environment that feels chaotic. Meaning Lagos, I'm going to Ibadan or talking to people. Right now, I feel like talking to my mom, weirdly enough, feels like most days, if I just call her and we just speak for a while, I feel better, right? Or some other things I try to do. Number one, is just to sleep. Those are some of the small things for me. Because if I think about the other things like hobbies, in the moments when you are really stressed, I don't really know if I usually have the energy to pick up some of them, like reading. The past month or two, I've not really been reading as much as I used to because I had other things that are like taking up my time. But actually, Sha, if I look at it, when I did find small times reading in between those moments, it actually was calm. Like it was calming and peaceful then, Sha. Just to piggyback into that, I mean, you can't like sew every day, but is there something you do to like comfort yourself after a stressful day?
I sleep heavy on sleep. I literally switch off and wake up when the whole family will be like, "Are you feeling fine? Are you down on something? Or you sure you don't want to go to the hospital and just check out whether you have malaria hiding in your body like you usually do?" Well, that's it. I can sleep straight for a. I cannot put a hand on how many hours. But I know by the time I wake up with body pain from sleeping too much.
That's actually a thing. If I was to add anything again, probably I think one thing I not recently discovered though, because like we've pointed out, it's expensive to be going out. But in the in the times I do, it actually is actually just calming, especially like if you are going out for like something that's an interest for you. You're actually just excited and you just like being there. So I think for me, being able to go out for small meetups, keyword small meetups, not like big events, because big events are already stressful as they are overwhelming. But like small meetups, just a group of people, or you drag your friend along with you, that kind of thing. So this part's supposed to be like the fear of being forgotten by yourself, like that loop or that cycle. I feel like right now, I remember like I was having a friend just mentioned about how she was trying to free up more time for herself to be able to continue with some of the hobbies she had before, right? And just trying to make sure she doesn't lose touch with that side of herself. And I've also had people talking about how do you balance or doing your own personal thing with maybe work or with school, that kind of thing too. I think it's actually a big thing for people because you don't just want to be all about work or about school. Like those things don't define you if you like more or less like they're a part of you or but they are not necessarily identity. Like me personally, I would not say identify with oh school or work per se. It's something I'm even trying to learn how to do, like either talk about yourself outside of those spaces and just as yourself as a whole and not based on one old thing, right? But do you guys ever feel like or worry that if you stay too long in that cycle, there's a chance that you become a stranger to yourself?
Yeah, it's normal. That's what I'll say. It's normal because we all have what makes us feel like alive. Yeah, so if we're not getting that, we're not feeling accomplished, then it feels like you're just losing yourself.
The fear of like losing yourself to, other things that probably does not matter at the end of the day, in the real sense of things, is very, very, very much real. Especially like for me, that anyway I'm exposed to the hospital setting. During posting, you see like different scenarios. I think one of the things that really holds on for me is that if you can't, if you can't have people, I think the people that probably matter the most are not your boss or maybe your lecturer in the real sense of thing, but people that are probably going to stand by you are probably big, who have affluence, they have influence. You see them reduced to nothing when they are sick. And it is people that they have, people that matter to them, that they matter to, that will stay around to hold the ground for them. So for me, in everyday kind of dealing, it's to prioritize people that actually matters, against work, against school drama, stuff like that, because you are like keeping in touch with people that remind you of who you are without all of the, tied to person to person, not just they're not around you because of your job, they're not around you because they're a student, they're just around you because they're here to do life with you. And also just ensuring that, I prioritize myself because I believe that I can't pour from an empty cup. So for for everything I want to become, I'm still like the greatest asset to acquire that. So I have to ensure like I take good care of myself.
For me, sometimes I just sit down and try and think of what the younger me would have wanted, what the Nigerian pulls to and pushed me to
I can get like
wanted me to do survive. Then what future I can see from this point in my life. So that's how I look at it. So I don't just focus.
so just add to what Trust said. For me, I think one of the things I do is just focus on things that I have control over and things that I don't have control over. Because I think if I some of the things that we do is that sometimes we obsess over things going wrong, things that they're probably not in our control. The weather is not in your control, network issues is not in your control. So like you can either choose to obsess over it, beat yourself up on things that went wrong that obviously were not in your control. Or just go with the flow and get things done. And the kind of the kind of environment to live, a lot of things go wrong without your control. Even though sometimes it might seem like, oh, we should have done it, but then in the truth and sense of things, you can't actually do anything. So yeah, just focusing more on things that I have control over and trying to defend and leave things that I know that, well, it's not in my power to change this. So yeah.
So like I think when based off like the trying to not lose yourself, right? And based off like what you said also, I think you could also look at that it could be in the sense of trying to from the title of the episode, trying to make space for yourself. Right. I guess so that would like lead to the ending and me just asking now, what do you think it means to create space for yourself at this current stage you are? What do you think creating space for yourself means and what does it look like?
For me, I would say that's like just doing what I want to do, like a no-brainer stuff. At the end, I'll feel accomplished.
Okay.
One is coercing me to do stuff. I'm not missing any deadline. I'm not speed running anything. I just
Not missing any deadline is real.
I can't believe I'm saying this. 15-year-old me will be like, you didn't budget this.
You've mentioned how there is no time or everything, but looking at how important it might be to try to create that time for yourself, what would that look like? Like, how do you think you would go about it in doing that?
The logical answer to that is some things you specifically have to suffer. That is it. It's either you're sacrificing your sleep, which would always pay you back someday. You can attest to that fact. Or sacrificing one other thing that is, you would not say is not of higher priority, but is not that important as what you would want to actually do. So let's say for me, if I was to prioritize sewing, okay, I want to do this, then designing will have to take the second gear and just chill there. If I was saying that I want to run the two of them at once, I would suffer on sleep. And that sleep has a payback. The backlash is very hard because you can just crash for a day. Or maybe something as minor as cold might end up wanting to claim the life that you are trying so hard to protect. Have checks on yourself, what you initially wanted to do, that childhood dream, what you can actually accomplish, and what you can maybe go out of your way, do the extra mile.
I totally agree with that. I think I once heard someone say, oh, that we're all living in a story that we won't get to tell. People will tell a story for us. The best thing I think you can do for yourself is just ensure that you actually live or have been alive, because you can't live it afterwards. Life is finite. Things end. Your relationship with people probably end. People that are trying to maybe sacrifice your sanity for your time, your blood, your sweat, probably end. They'll probably I don't know, life happens in different ways. It might not be with you to the end. So just ensure that you have the best kind of relationship with yourself. Like, I feel like life is crazy enough for you to not be in love with who you are, story, and what you want to perform, and to own up your own story. If someone like that achieve that should be like one of the main things we should all like look forward to having, being in love with ourselves and also like owning up our story. Because I think for me, whatever I go through in this life, that's like one of, should I say, my mental backup or backbone. Because I might go through the worst things, but then I know like I got myself, and yeah, I'm still the beautiful me, and I can still get through things. So that was one thing that held me down. But then yes, just live vibing a life. I can. That's something I think I can go on my knees to beg someone to do, because life will end. Life will end, and you just don't want to live through 24/7 fatigue, being burnt out. Just live vibing a life.
Making space for you does not have to be dramatic. If it's been a while you did something just for you, consider this a sign. Even if it's small, even if it's seen. And feel free to share this episode with someone who might need the reminder. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.